Welcome to Cody's Art Corner. I'm Cody. I'm going to be going over wireframes today and what they're used for. Typically I use a wireframe to lay out my page. If I'm going to be drawing a person, doesn't matter if I'm doing it realistic, if I'm not doing it, or if I'm doing it cartoony, anything like that, I use a wireframe. So, and I normally do it in red. The reason why is because I can lower the opacity of a red on my Wacom tablet here. I even do it on paper sometimes, and that's just to kind of map out where everything's going to go. One thing to keep in mind when you're working on your wireframes and stuff like that, nothing is set in stone, especially when you're working digitally. Nothing's really set in stone until you move on to blacker color. So with me right now, I'm going to be using some red. Typically I start off with the head. So got my chin here. Curve that around. Like I said, nothing's really set in stone here. Got kind of a 3/4 view thing here. And then I've got my neck. Your neck connects to the base of your head. In this case, there. Got him at a 3/4 view, so I'll go ahead and make his chest about the same. I'm going to be drawing a male and for instances purposes, and his shoulder, another shoulder here. Say he's got a hand in his pocket there, and maybe he's waving. Remember, your spine curves around, it's not straight. And your rib cage comes from behind there, you know, it goes around. Typically, what I try to remember is your elbow always goes to right here, underneath your, right about the bottom of your rib cage. If you're looking at me at this point in time, right there at the base of your rib cage, that's where your elbow would go. That's where his elbow's at. You know, and if you lay your hand down flat, it should come to mid-thigh. That's proportion. Some people out there use heads to measure, which in that case would be about 3.5 heads. Here's the hip bone. When it comes to drawing men, just keep in mind that they're going to have thinner hips, smaller hips, tighter together, whereas women will have wider hips. Men typically have broader shoulders and thinner hips. Their body styles kind of do this. Kind of a man's form right there. Little guy right there. See? It's kind of a man. You know. He obviously has no neck, but you know, that's a man, whereas a woman has kind of an hourglass-like shape. Comes out more in the hips. So you'd have, let's go head here, neck there, things there, her rib cage, you know, and then, you know, your hips. it's a little exaggerated, but your hips there, creating this woman-esque figure. But just off of this alone, you should be able to kind of see what I'm referring to as far as wireframe work. You know, right there I've got 3 different figures. And all a wireframe really is just a bunch of lines, some circles for your joints, little place for your feet. So he's got a foot facing towards you, a foot facing away. And this just kind of gives you the availability to kind of fill things in, you know. When it comes to cartooning a lot, as far as what I do in my free time and hobbies and stuff like that, it's all about kind of manipulating things. In this case, the torso is obviously a lot longer than the legs. I wouldn't want to do that. Typically you want your torso and your legs to be about the same length. So from here, this should be as tall as this. This should be equal to this. That's to be proportionate. Go ahead. Start up a new image here. Bigger. So let's do here. I'll do somebody facing straight at you. Now I'm kind of skipping the wireframe here because I kind of understand how this works. So, hips. Sometimes for leg purposes I'll just draw a knee in there. But if you look at your rib cage, it kind of does this number here. Comes to a V point. Feel your sternum right there. Your ribs all kind of come up to that location, you know. So when you're doing your wire frame, you know, keep that framework. Your hip, when you're drawing your spine back here, it's very wide in the front, thin in the back. So that would be a hip right there. So the thigh, your bone connects right there, and right there to your hip. Draw your bone, comes down here, down here. See what I mean? But wireframe is what you'd use to map out what you're doing for an image. Obviously, looking at a rough sketch of my work right now, I've gotten kind of used to doing that wireframe where I can kind of just fill things in. and kind of got a person going there. Next tutorial I'm going to do is because I'm going to break this up into segments. I'm going to do the head and the proportions of a head. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment if there's things individually that you guys want to see me illustrate, me draw. Currently I've been working on like turning anime characters into Western comic book characters. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. I might just start a new side channel doing that. And I'll show you guys the character starting and character ending. It does take a few days for me to kind of finish things off. I might get the initial drawing done, but I'm not going to be able to color it that quick. So thank you for watching. Once again, please like, comment, subscribe. Big thumbs up would be great. It would help my channel out a lot since I'm just starting. And I hope you kind of got the gist of what I meant by wireframes and what their uses are, and a little bit of proportions there.